And there we go.
Oh,
You can take it from here, my dear.
All right, I'm pulling up the presenter window now.
Okay, and if I need to share host with you, just let me know.
Okay, let me share my screen. Oh, it said you
Yeah,
have to
I probably
enable
need to
share
make you
screen.
host.
Yeah,
There you go.
cool. All right, can everybody see my screen?
yes.
Oh, yeah, that's neat.
Cool. Okay. So the AI agent, in the, as everybody knows, ChatGPT is out there. That's probably the first one that people are familiar with. AI in general in the next year or so, and it already has, is going to be implemented in all kinds of crazy ways in your CRM, in your lead generation, lead nurturing, everything like that. It also is going to evolve how we maintain those relationships, and change the role of the agent in the transaction. Transactions are going to they've already gotten easier with even stuff like dot loop, Zoom calls like we're on now. The world is just getting smaller. It's a lot quicker to do your transactions, and the turnaround time is a lot faster. We can look at data and large data sets and really deduce what's important out of those, and find insights that we can use in our business. And but there's a lot of opportunities that come with it, but there's a lot of challenges that also come with it as well. So there's a pretty steep learning curve. It is, this technology changes on a weekly basis. It seems like a new tool will come out, or even if you've implemented something into your system, which we're going to get into building your AI systems in this presentation. But even once you've built your systems, a lot of these software will change, or introduce new features, and you really have to keep your eyes open and stay educated when it comes to this. So this is the people that are here in attendance. This is the first step. You are off to a great start. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is, what is AI used for? Why is it important? And why are we even talking about it? So there's this concept called the efficiency revolution, which is just a fancy term for automating all of those mundane tasks that we have in our business, and not only in real estate, but also just business in general, life in general. Even, stay-at-home parents are using AI now to schedule things for their kids, make their life easier around the house and all that stuff. So some of the most important things that you can use it for in your business right now is scheduling. So calendar automation, making sure that your time management is really on point. Qualifying leads, so making sure that those leads that you're getting are nurtured properly. They're in the correct drip campaigns. They're being touched, as many times as they need to before they need a human contact, which is still very important, and we're going to get to that. And then transaction management is one area where AI is really taking off right now. And there's tools that are specifically designed for real estate in order to simplify the transaction management, schedule all of your inspections, send out the proper paperwork when it needs to be, and basically just keep you on track throughout the entire transaction. So the efficiency revolution is really about increasing the ROE, or your return on energy. So most people are familiar with your return on investment. This is, that's a common term, basically your money that you're putting into it. But with the rise of AI, one of the primary factors that are like driving its growth is the fact that it can save you so much time, which is sometimes even more valuable than your money. So that return on energy is basically just like you're still going to have to put in work. The AI isn't going to do all of the work for you. It's not going to replace your job. It replaces parts of your job, but it's not going to replace you in entirety. So one thing that I like to think about is, the basic Pareto principle. About 80% of the work you can now have done by AI, but you still need to spend about 20% of that time either editing what the AI has created for you, or you still have to spend time in order to get the systems in place for the AI to actually start to work for you. Another way that you can think about AI is as a kind of a brainstorming partner. So it's a way for you not to have to think alone anymore. So it's super important for people that are kind of in that high level leadership roles. If you have a team or anything like that, you can really brainstorm through market analytics. You can give it your specific MLS's data, and it can give you analytics that help you to design campaigns, to get referrals, to increase your agent outreach. And yeah, it's just a great like brainstorming partner in that regard. And as AI develops and as our systems get more automated, there will be a greater importance on human relationships. So, and this is AI can help you do this, but you're going to still need to like be there as a human being. You're still going to be part of the negotiation process. So AI is not necessarily going to advocate for your client as well as you could. And now it can give you ideas of creative ways to negotiate or creative ways to create an offer or package up an offer. But at the end of the day, it's still the human creativity that has to come up with how we want to present these negotiations and really represent our clients in the best way. The other way is market analysis. So with the rise of information, everybody out there is going to have access to these tools, and they're getting cheaper and cheaper. Being a market leader and having a good finger on your market will become more and more important. And then the other part is education. So like I said, all of this stuff changes on a almost weekly basis. Staying educated on how your systems work, how you've got them implemented in your business, and what kind of changes that you need to make to adapt to a continuously changing industry is going to be of utmost importance in the future. So I'm going to back up just a little bit and just give people a little overview of AI. So I assume most people are familiar with ChatGPT. This is probably the most common that people use. It is really the first one that brought it to people's attention. But this is just one of many AI models. So ChatGPT, it's if you've ever used it, I'm hoping that some people have used it. If they haven't, then I'll go into a little bit of what it looks like later on in the presentation. But it's basically a text-based model where you type in a question or a prompt, as it's called, and it spits out a text-based answer. So it can give you the outline of a slideshow. It can write code for you if you need to create something specific on your website. It will also, develop campaigns. This is what I was talking about, where it's really a thought partner. It's something you can brainstorm with, and you really can think with it. So ChatGPT is, a lot of people kind of use it as Google, but it goes way beyond that, because the prompts, like I was saying, are super important.
Sure.
So when it comes to, let's see, this next slide. So yeah, so ChatGPT is this is a pretty dense slide. I promise it gets a little bit easier after I give the introduction. But GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. And it was designed for text generation, writing, doing creative content. It's really good at translating from your content from one language to another, and answering questions in an informative and pretty simple way. The LLM is the larger, broader term for large language models, which are natural language that we speak into. You know, there's a lot of speech to text type of things now where you just talk to it, kind of like the next level of Siri or Google Assistant. And it's also being used a little bit deeper because there's tools being built on top of these large language models that allow you to accomplish very niche goals and objectives. So there's very specific tools for scheduling now that might use ChatGPT as their basis, or what they're based on, but they're now built on top of it, and it has a better user interface so that you can accomplish, more specific goals. Now, in order to keep this in mind, though, you still need to have some base knowledge of AI prompting. And what prompting is you basically ask a question to either like ChatGPT or one of the other tools that are built on top of it, and correcting its response to you is super important. So it's not always right. Remember, I said it's about 80-20. It's going to start doing about 80% of the work, and you're going to still have to do about 20% of the work. So that just means you're going to have to go in there and edit it, fact check it, make sure that it's giving you the response that you want. If you just go on there and type in, how to blah, 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 or, send me a market report for this area, it's going to be very broad. It's not going to know exactly what to do. Think of AI kind of like a new assistant that you just hired, and they're really good. They have they have an amazing work ethic, but they've never worked in real estate. Okay. So you have to teach it how to work with you. You have to teach it what industry you're in, what laws to cover. So when you ask it to write a listing description for X house, whatever address, you need to give it the information of the number of bedrooms, the neighborhood that it's in. You can ask it to pull, social media sentiments for that neighborhood and the things that people really talk about on social media. AI can automatically pull that for you into the listing description, but you have to ask for that. If you just write me a listing description for whatever address, it's not necessarily going to do that. You have to tell it to follow fair housing law. And then there's also this kind of prompt engineering strategy where you use terms like think like, or you are a, and that could be like, think like a real estate attorney. And it's obviously not an attorney, but now it knows in its processing to pay attention to the laws that are in your state, and it's going to, follow those laws, give you a response that's more like what an attorney would respond to an email, basically with. Now, if you say you are a social media marketer or digital marketer creating a campaign for whatever address in this neighborhood, planning an open house, that's going to give you a completely different response out of the AI than just saying, write me a campaign for an open house at this address, because it's going to give you, a more specific answer in that way. And like I said before, it's a brainstorming partner. So don't overthink it. Don't be scared to just type stuff in. There's the free versions of these. You can continuously change and tell it what you want out of it. It's not like an employee or something like that where you have to, tiptoe around stuff. You can be harsh with the AI. You can critique its answers to you, and it will continuously evolve and learn how you interact with it and what kind of answers you're looking for out of the AI. So it's pretty interesting how it evolves as you start to use it and use it more in depth. So is everybody following? Everybody good? I can see a couple of people, so I'll
Yes, that's good.
Okay, cool. And I think the chat open? I was gonna see if anybody has.
Yes, I don't think anyone has put anything. I keep looking at it, just make sure.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. So if anybody, just you feel free to interrupt me, Christy, if you see anybody that has made a mention of anything or has any questions. And if you do have any questions, feel free to drop it into that chat, and I'll definitely cover it.
Perfect. Thank
I
you.
do plan on having like a Q&A session after this meeting near the end if you do have any questions for me.
Whatever
So,
kind of money
yeah.
it is. And if the buyer follows the rules that they have to
Hey
follow,
guys, can everyone mute your
all the different things
speaker?
that they do, and the lender comes back and says, hey, they don't qualify for a loan.
Or Tyler, are you able to
Yeah,
mute
Yeah,
them?
well, let's see.
From
Coming
the
off of Valerie's stuff.
There you go. I muted
There
it. Yeah, it was
Thank
bad.
you.
look at it, hey, I've got a
Got it.
buyer.
Okay.
They're wanting
I
to
thought that was it.
convey, and I've got 3 minutes. I need to talk with.
There we go.
With the link to
Okay.
be able to. Yeah.
Where was I at? There we go. So, okay, I'll come back to it. Building systems. So this is where I was saying AI, really one of the main use cases for it right now is to save you time, which is one of the most valuable things that you have. So a couple of the more basic interactions that you might have with it, and you might already have experienced this, is with calendar automation.
Great day.
With Google, there's a new app called Motion, which is a pretty in-depth calendar. Zapier, which is a project management, more for teams and stuff like that. Zapier has a lot of AI resources built into it. And then Doodle is one that I actually use for scheduling, and it's pretty new. I just learned about it while I was doing research on this, but it works well. It ties in with your calendar and helps you to prioritize tasks, as well as help other people get onto your calendar. I know for me, at least, I live off my calendar. And if you want to talk to me, you basically have to get a slot on that calendar in order to, for me to be able to give you the most time.
Hey,
No.
Tyler, Steve had
Yeah.
mentioned if they use Chat GPT to make sure when they copy and paste to clean up the end, he's seen MLS listings that say regenerate response at the end of it because people haven't double checked that.
Yes, absolutely. So that's where, like I was saying, it's going to do about 70-80% of the work, but you still need to go in there and proofread everything, especially ChatGPT. It is only updated until I want to say like September of 2022 when it comes to like new things that have come out, new laws even that have happened, and statistics. So ChatGPT, that first one that most people are familiar with, it's not going to be super accurate if you're looking for current trends or anything like that. Now, there are other GPT type AIs like Google's Bard. So Bard is one I can show you in just a little bit. It is basically the same as ChatGPT, but it uses Google instead of ChatGPT's like AI language model, and it's more up to date. It can give you better current trends. I use it more for market analysis and neighborhood analysis. So yeah, you still need to go on there and proofread pretty directly. The next thing, sorry, there's a lot of chatter. Now the next thing is integrating with your email and messaging. So on your CRMs, a lot of those, if you're using Real Geeks or KV Core or anything like that, the AI isn't necessarily going to look like AI the same way that ChatGPT does, but most of the time those show up as chatbots or automated drip campaigns. This is one way that AI is already being implemented into CRMs. So anytime you get an email from a client that answers an email and they say they want to schedule a showing, AI will allow you to automatically schedule that show if you're available for it. The transaction management, as people move through the process, you go from a cold lead that you got off a Facebook ad, and then they respond, they start visiting your website. That communication needs to change. And previously we had to either manually do that, or we had to go on there and, reach out to them, send them a text, shoot them an email or whatever. Now that transaction can be completely automated up until the contracts are actually written. And going from there, even now there's contract software that you still have to have that human touch where you have to look it over, but based on your email threads, based on the information you give it, it will automatically create the offer for you. You don't have to fill in the blanks. It will fill in the blanks for you. You just proofread and make sure that it's actually what your client wants. But it's just going to save you a ton of time. Say that takes, 30 minutes off your plate. Instead of you filling in the blanks, you just give it the criteria of what offer you want. It'll write the contract up for you, send it to the person, and it'll automatically buy. The next part is on lead qualification. So nurturing and qualifying before the contact, that's probably one of the best ways right now to use AI, because say we have, with the age of digital advertising, we can have, thousands of leads at a very cheap cost that come into our CRMs, and filtering through those, hiring an ISA, having somebody make those phone calls for you is, can be time consuming or very expensive. So that's one way that AI is already implemented into our business, is ways to nurture and qualify those contacts before we ever actually have to make human contact.
Hey, we did have one more question. Don and Vivian would like to know, how does the chat box coordinate with the calendar?
Yeah, so that comes down to what they call plugins. So each of these, and I'll talk about building systems. It really depends on how you build your system. So all of this AI stuff is, it's like there's one specific niche that most of these products fulfill, but they tie into each other so that you can build your own system that works for you and for your own business.
Oh, wow.
So like say you're on Real Geeks, okay? Real Geeks has a chatbot that's built into it, but it also has integrations where you can plug it in with Zapier, or you can plug in it, whatever calendar app you have. So as soon as if someone talks to that chatbot and says, hey, I'd like to schedule a phone call, it can automatically, and you have to go in there and set all this stuff up. That's where it's time consuming in the beginning, but it will actually, suggest times in your calendar based on when you're available for them to schedule a call for you. So that's just one way that it can integrate. It's really going to be more specific to whatever product you decide to implement in your system, in your particular system. So I'm sorry, that's like a broad answer, but that's just one example and a little bit of it gets more specific depending on what product you're using. So
they followed up with a question. Can you use it with KV Core, and are you in particular using it with KV Core?
Yes, you can use it with KV Core. I'm not personally really using too much. I have some stuff set up in KV Core that's like the automatic drip campaigns and stuff. But I honestly just haven't educated myself enough to actually implement it correctly. And I really, before I do any of this stuff, I really want to dive down and learn specifically how to use and best use each of the services. But I know that KV Core has AI potential built into it. I just haven't used it yet. Like I said, that's all stuff that also has popped up in the last couple months that are new, and they're continuously adding new products. So unless you go into KV Core and you implement them and turn them on basically and set them up properly, it's not working for you yet.
Okay, so if they go into KV Core and research it, there is a way to turn that on. They can start using it from there.
Yes, and KV Core, I think one of the better things that they have set up right now are the smart campaigns that allow you to, that will change what drips people are on or what kind of communication they get depending on where they are in the transaction process.
Can I ask that something?
Yeah, go for it.
KV Core, I know I've been playing around with it this week. You can send, when you send out an email, if you're just sending out one email or whatever to a lead to follow up their first time hitting your site, you can choose an AI response on there, and you just have to type. It's just like ChatGPT. You type in the whatever response or whatever you want to say. Thank you for visiting my site, and it generates an email, and you can clear it and regenerate, clear it and regenerate. Yep. That's just the very basic usage of it, but that's one thing I have found with KV Core, that it is available when you're sending out emails to hit that.
Nice. Yeah, that's a super useful use case, and that's a situation where that prompt engineering, having a basic knowledge of prompt engineering can help you even on these, if you're not specifically working on ChatGPT, even on, you know, the implemented stuff inside of software, that those prompts matter. And understanding how you're interacting with AI when you are interacting with the AI is super important. Now your CRMs and sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, guys, please mute your microphones.
No, that's on my end. I'm sorry.
Is that on your end? Okay.
That's Lee Linhart.
Is that Lee?
I
Yeah.
can hear her.
Yeah, it's a busy office here. Sorry.
No problem.
So yeah, I'll come back to to this. So maximizing your time. So your calendar, your CRM, and all that lead generation will have AI built in. A lot of it is already built in there. It's just about using what's out there. So like I said, ISAs and that lead nurturing will be faster and more automated. The auto responses can be smarter. Like Steve just said, you can edit how you want it to respond to you. And as we'll get into in just a little bit, you know, telling it how to speak on your behalf, explaining what your brand is, what tone you have, giving it examples of things that you've written in the past can really help it develop, you know, that email copy that makes it sound like you. And we'll get into how to teach all that in just a moment. Another use case for it is content creation. So right now, you know, everybody knows that social media is important, but very few, like a very small percent of realtors even are using social media to its full capability and posting to it. There is no excuse anymore to not be creating social media content. Even if you don't want to put your face on it, you don't want, you know, you're scared of a camera, you don't know what to take a picture of. None of that matters anymore because AI can create, you can send it one picture of you, your headshot, and it will create videos of you talking, saying things that you have never said before based on a script. Now, a lot of people are kind of scared of that because of the privacy concerns, you know, the fact that people could go out there and make fake videos of you saying just about anything. But as long as you are using it for its proper uses and you're actually, you know, using it effectively, it's very, very powerful and it can save you a lot of time and increase the amount of content that you can put out exponentially. So some that you might already be familiar with are Canva. I know a lot of people use Canva in real estate. It's one of the simplest ways to do graphic design of any sort. Edit videos, this presentation was actually made on Canva. And the AI resources that Canva has built in are awesome. So you can automatically get pictures made just based on text that you put in there. You can create a document and it will create a slideshow for you. It will make a PDF based on notes that you had from a buyer's meeting. It's just super powerful. Adobe is Adobe's more pay to play, which with Canva you have to pay, but it's not super expensive. With Adobe, you're going to have to pay a little bit more, but it's very, very more high level. So if you're really into the content creation, you've got stuff out on social media, but you just want to take it to that next level. Adobe, you know, Premiere Pro, Adobe Firefly, I think is the name of their AI system in place. It's super powerful. Video is easier. So you can shoot one long form video, and there's software like Opus AI and Munch now can break that video up into the little short form videos, the reels and stuff like that, and TikToks that people are posting, and it automatically puts those captions in there. And producing content, like I was saying, that you've never made before. This is not like video, like Opus and Munch. You take video you've shot and you upload it into there. To produce original content, there's software like InVideo, Synthesia, and 11 Labs that will actually create content that is completely original. It's created by AI, by your inspiration, but you don't really have to do anything. You just tell it what you want and it creates the content for you. It's kind of crazy. But those are just a couple things to look into. I have a bigger list of topics or software that I can send you later if you want to dive deeper into each of these. Let's go. So that's enough about AI and a general overview of it and everything like that, how it's evolved. But how are you as an agent actually going to use this? How is your job going to change now? So there's going to be a higher importance on relationships, branding, keeping tabs on the market, and making yourself stand out in that way. And then, like we were saying earlier, building systems. So all of this is based on what systems you build in your business. You can ignore AI if you want to. You don't have to do any of this. You can still send regular emails. You can still just like text people. And that is going to be important. You know, just if you're at your kid's soccer game and you meet one of the parents and they're interested in selling their house, like you don't have to necessarily get AI involved in that transaction. Maybe you just text them and you go over for dinner and that's how you do it. Those relationships are still going to be important. But AI can help you by, once you have that transaction going, you throw it into your transaction coordination software and it automates everything for you. So you don't have, you're pretty much hands off. But one of the most important things is building those authentic relationships. As transactions and as just general life gets more technical and automated, people are going to gravitate toward real human interaction. People still want to go out to coffee shops. They still want to, know that there's a human on the other side of the transaction, and building your brand is really going to play into that. But we'll get into that in just a second. It's going to help with the lead nurture and simplify all of your follow-ups, all of that stuff. But once they're in the system and you've got them contacted and you're going to showings and stuff, you can switch over to being a more direct contact in direct communication with the clients. So that's going to be important. The human touch, like we were just saying earlier, you still need to be present in those communications, and you also need to edit whatever is coming out of the AI and make sure that it is actually, for one, accurate, but also in the tone of voice and in the way that you write things. So making sure that it's on brand for you, and when people are emailing you, they can obviously tell when this is an AI generated email versus when you're actually sending the email itself. And remember that AI is not this omnipresent kind of thing out in the air. It might in the future, we don't know what it's going to turn into, but right now it does what you tell it to, and it's not perfect. So you do need to go in there, edit things, and the prompts are one of the most important things that you need to take into account when you're using AI. So whether that's a chat-based AI like ChatGPT, or you're putting in a video, really explaining how you want the output to look and what kind of expectations you have are going to be super important. And the other step is how you set up those systems matter. So if you have employees, if you have, actual human assistants, or if you just have a virtual assistant or anything like that, or you're a one-man shop or woman shop, how you set up those systems is going to affect how it changes your business. Obviously your calendar is going to change. Your job isn't going away. Your job is just changing. And one of the main ways is it's going to change is the maintenance and continuously evolving your systems to implement AI is going to be super important and be fairly time consuming up front, but it's going to save you time in the net future. So one of the other things to think about in here is, and this goes along with building those human relationships, is the technological literacy that it takes to actually use all of this software and all of this stuff. There's a learning curve that we're following here, and we're ahead of the game because we're in webinars like this. We're learning about it and trying to implement it, but the majority of people out there aren't really looking at how to use AI. We're going to have to teach them how to do business with us now. And that's super important. You're going to need to create tutorials. You might need to, send emails saying like, hey, you've previously been talking to AI. Don't be scared to tell people that you've been using it. You have these systems in place. This is how I do business now. And, people are going to have to adapt to that. Now, some people are going to love it and some people are going to hate it. I still have clients personally that I've only ever done paper contracts with them. I only meet them on in person. You know, not everybody is going to adopt this as quickly as we have. But even those people that I have paper contracts with, behind the scenes in my own system, I upload those into my transaction coordination software, and the process is automated. Even if they're not involved in it, it just makes my life easier because that's how I run my business. So you can still use paper contracts, you can still do all this, but implementing them into your systems is going to be important, and teaching people how to do business with you and how to pay you and like how to work with you and how to send referrals is super important. So one of the other things that you can use it for, and that you have no excuse not to now, is your branding, your social media presence, your web presence, creating blogs on your website. You know, a lot of these tools, like I was talking about Canva just a minute ago, you can actually upload your brand images, you know, the Remax images, if you're with Remax, the logos, the colors, what kind of voice that you want. And by voice, I mean like how you speak to people, what kind of, how professional you are, whether you use curse words or anything. You know, AI can adapt to make it mimic whatever your brand is. And remember to don't use AI to create your personality, use it to magnify it. So AI shouldn't be completely writing all of your emails. You should still be going in there and proofreading it, making sure that it sounds like something that you want to send. But use it to write 10 emails in the time that it takes you to write one, because now it's templatized or whatever, and it can be sent out, you know, and your content can be created in an ungodly amount of efficiency now. But you use it mainly to maximize your reach and be omnipresent. So omnipresent just means that if you've been posting on Facebook and Instagram every now and then, now you can take that same content and post it on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube Shorts, on, you know, every possible thing out there, so that when people look you up, or wherever people are, wherever they're spending their time, they're getting to see you, and on a more regular basis. Now, a lot of this you can schedule ahead of time. Canva, for instance, is one that I use. You can go in there and they have a social media calendar built in. You can create content. I spend about, you know, maybe 4 to 8 hours a month creating content for an entire month. And I've done this for other people. I've done it for myself. I do it for businesses. And you can spend just a small amount of time up front, and it will automate, you know, months worth of going on there and posting and doing all that.
When you do that, are you posting mostly like pictures with verbiage? Or are you doing mostly like memes? Like, what are you doing with that? Are you doing videos and scheduling them for ahead of time? What are you doing with that?
Yeah, so there's a little rule about, you know, how often you should post, and different platforms have different requirements to make their algorithms like you, basically. But I would say maybe 3 out of 5 are video. So make sure that it's something moving, something that's captivating, it's getting people's attention. And these don't even necessarily have to be related to real estate, and asking, you know, it doesn't have to have a call to action every single time. But I would say 3 are video, and with a caption on there. Instagram Reels, one of the biggest ones that are growing right now that's underutilized is YouTube Shorts, which is basically like an Instagram Reel or a TikTok or anything like that. But people go to YouTube in order to learn generally, where people that are on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, they're on there to just consume information and, you know, not really do anything with it. YouTube has a higher level of people that will actually act on the information you give them. So tailoring your content for that is important. The other 2, so I'd say like post, you know, 5 times a week. If you're going to do that, it's pretty normal for people. 3 of those would be video, and 2 would be a static image. So that's just 2, and you can even do that on YouTube. But in Instagram, Facebook, all of that, having a static image And also making those static images something that people will want to comment on. So asking a question in the static image or something that drives engagement. Sometimes it can be, you know, you might not want to implement this in your business, but a lot of people do. But things that are controversial increase engagement because it gets people to comment on it. Even if the comment says like, oh, that's wrong, I think it's this way, blah, blah, blah. Or you have some market insight you came up with and it's a controversial message. A lot of times that can increase your algorithm or increase your relationship with the algorithm. And then those videos that you post that have a call to action to actually do business with you will have a greater reach because those controversial messages that you had out there got more engagement. So the algorithms think that you're more interesting, basically. So did that answer your question in a broad way?
Yes, thank you.
It really depends on which specific platform that you're on, you know, and what works on those specific platforms. People go to different apps for different reasons. So you have to think about why people are there when you're posting on them. And you can use the same content that you've used, you know, your long form content, and break it up into small pieces. But that long form content might have different topics that are more relevant on certain platforms than others.
Thank you.
And then another way to use it is there's no excuse not to be a market expert nowadays. So know and understand the neighborhoods that you do business in, and keeping updated with the market knowledge is super important now. You can analyze data in huge data sets. You can identify topics that are going to be interesting for you, topics that you can post on your social media, or things that are going to change how you do your own personal marketing. So you can use this AI to synthesize all of this information that you get from your CRM or from the MLS, and then you can become a source of information for people, become a thought leader in the industry. So these are just a couple prompt examples, and I can actually I might be able to pull up, or I'll do it at the end here. Google Bard. So Google Bard is basically like ChatGPT. It looks about the same, but I like to use it because it gives a more accurate market knowledge based on Google trends and things like that in your specific market. More current information. ChatGPT only comes up to or like the late 2022, I think it is. And anything past that, the free version of ChatGPT at least doesn't really have any information on it. So yeah, so these are some examples. You know, with Google Bard, you might use it to estimate the value of blank address based on recent sales data, property features, neighborhood trends, blah, blah, blah. So this at the bottom is how you would actually create, or how you would prompt something more specifically in order to give you an answer that you want. So conduct the sentiment analysis on social media, which is just the general, like more than reviews, it's like how people actually feel about a certain neighborhood. And, you know, ask it specifically for what you want. The next step is to build your systems. So you have to build, sorry, it's so loud in my office right now. It's crazy. There's normally not as many people in here. So you're building your system out. You pick what tools that you want to integrate. So like I was saying, each one of these tools are very niche. A lot of them have niche use cases. They're specifically for going in and creating, you know, one type of video or one type of content. It's going to analyze one form of like market analysis. It's going to save you time in the long run, but it's going to take an initial time investment to get everything up and rolling. And one of the important things to think about here is that, like I said, your job isn't going away. It's just changing. You have to make sure that everything is operating and connected properly constantly. So you have to go in there and edit things, implement new software changes as things pop up, and just make sure that everything is working properly. One of the important things that you should do here is especially if you're implementing things in your CRM and you're getting drip campaigns, make sure that you put yourself, and with a separate email or something that's not connected to any of your real estate stuff, make sure you treat yourself like a customer so that you can see what people are seeing. So send yourself the drip campaigns, send yourself, and use yourself as a tester for things before you implement them wholeheartedly, just to make sure that things look proper, that they're working right, that they're easy to use, because some of this stuff, it's brand new. A lot of it's in the beta phase, and things might not be working perfectly up to par. So you want to know that before you start sending it out to random clients and you lose them because the email went to a dead link or something like that. So yeah, so your new responsibilities now as an agent in the age of AI, once you integrate it into your workflow, like I said, it's like hiring a skilled assistant. It's someone who graduated from business school. They understand a lot of things. They know how to research things, but they've never done real estate. They don't know your market. So you have to teach them about your market, about the trends in your market, how you do business, and how you want to respond and communicate with your leads. Being proactive in your maintenance is key. Regularly assessing the performance of all those AI tools is key. So make sure that they're all doing what you actually think that they should be doing. And make sure that those chatbots are effectively engaging with clients. Like I said, going in there and actually using the chatbot is going to be important. Getting the responses back to you is going to be super important. And yeah, just going in regularly, setting up time to go in and maintain all of your systems is going to be super important. And I can't stress that enough. These are not just set and forget kind of things. Exactly. Like I said, make it part of your daily routine, and make sure that you stay informed and updated on what's going on. A lot of your software and CRMs and stuff like that are going to send out emails that tell you about what new products they're implementing or what new software they're implementing, or they bought this new company and it's about to become part of it. Make sure you pay attention to that, because those kind of communications are where you're going to learn about what is changing in your software and what kind of things you can implement. Like we were talking about with KV Core, a lot of the potential is not being used by a lot of the users just because they haven't turned it on. A lot of these things need to be turned on, and they need to be like the system has to be created initially, and then it can run in the background. But you still have to set it up at the beginning. Make sure that you delegate these management tasks efficiently. If this is something that is above your pay grade, or you make so much money doing showings and actually or listing appointments, and you just don't have time to do this, find someone who can do it for you and implement these properly, because you're going to want to have these in place, and you're going to need to spend that time or hire somebody to do that. So if that's something that you need to do, make sure that you do it. And also, be sure that you're asking your clients how the experience was, especially if it's somebody that you've worked with in the past and now you've implemented some new tools and new systems and they've done another transaction with you. Ask them how it's changed. Have them be frank with you about the things that worked and the things that didn't work, because this is going to continuously evolve. And in the real estate industry, we've never seen a time where the way that we communicate with our clients is changing on such a regular basis. So seek continuous improvement and always be learning and receiving feedback on your systems. So just to wrap this up, and then I'll do a quick Q&A. Just the key takeaways are how AI is meant to enhance efficiency, save you time, and optimize all of your processes. So AI is not going to take your job. It's going to change how you do your job. And it's only going to be able to do about 70 to 80% of the work. You're still going to have to go in there, add a human touch, and make sure that everything is working properly in order for all of this to work properly in the end of it. You have to personalize it, make it specific to your brand. It's a tool, not a replacement for you. So use it like a tool to save you time. Regularly check in on those AI systems that you have in place, and make sure that you stay informed and educated continuously. Come to webinars like this. This was a very high level webinar, but I actually do like deeper dives into specific niches, different use cases. I even do one-on-one consultations with people in order to, you know, implement systems in their specific business based on their specific needs. So, if you are interested in that at all, I have a newsletter, as well as I have a calendar set up where you can set up an AI deep dive. That's where we'll take an hour and just go deep into your business, what systems you have in place already, what AI pieces you're already paying for that you might not be using, because that's a big issue nowadays. And then start to build those systems if you don't have them, and explore how you can use it to empower your real estate business. So, yep, I'm also a realtor. So if you have any referrals for Charleston, please feel free to send them my way. And yeah, if you'd like to learn more about AI, you can call me or text me. This is my number. That's my email address. And then this doodle link I'm going to drop into the chat real quick. And that's how you can schedule a time to sit with me, and we'll go over your AI systems that you already have in your business. I just dropped that in the chat.
Very cool. What
So
if
does
someone
anyone
has
have-
no AI systems going on? Can they still contact you for help, or
Yes,
do you prefer?
absolutely. Because my first response to that would be, you are using AI, whether you know it or
Okay.
not. If you have a Gmail account, you already have, like, an email, AI is already built into that. If you're a
Okay.
Remix agent, you have KV Core, you have access to KV Core now. There's AI built into that you may, it may not look like AI, but it is AI in the background. When you go to Google and you see, like, somebody sends you an email and it suggests to put it in your calendar, that's AI.
Oh, very cool.
But most
Now, what about those
effectively-
agents who say AI is just a fad, it's going away? What are your thoughts?
I would
Steve
say
laughed.
kind of similar to the answer that I just gave. Whether you know it or not, you're going to be interacting with AI. Unless you just never open your cell phone, you never open a computer, you don't do anything like that. You know, it's you're interacting with it. Now, somebody just asked, what is better than Chat GPT? One of my favorites is Bard, B-A-R-D, by Google. So this gives you a more accurate information. It's going to give you more. Let's see, I have it pulled up here. I'm going to see if I can share my screen. I think it's this one. Let's see. So this is Canva. This is what I'm using now. This is Bard. So one of the things that I had already was working on is this prompt that I sent you earlier. Everybody can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So this is what Bard looks like. Very similar to Chat GPT if you've ever been there, but it's based on Google. So it gives you Google updates. It's going to be more up to date and more relevant than what Chat GPT can give you. Because if you typed this into Chat GPT, it would tell you that it only knows things up to 2022. You know, you need to talk to a realtor. Now, see, and this one is actually asking for how it can improve. So it needs a few additional details. This is, like I was saying, you're training the AI how to work with you. So are you interested in people moving in the next 3 years, moving away, the overall sentiment, the search filters, and then where was it? Up here. This is one I ran earlier. Once you identify all of that, search within the next 3 years, this is what it's going to shoot for you. So this is the Buckshire neighborhood in Ladson, South Carolina, a neighborhood I'm familiar with. These are keywords that people are using. So whether it's moving, the reasons they're moving, the platforms that they're on. These are the positive things that people are saying about it. And these are the negative things that people are saying about it. And it gives you trends, moving patterns, and it'll tell you where where it is failing in its own information. So that's Bard is just a more up-to-date version of a GPT, because remember, ChatGPT is just one of the AI tools that you can use. Another one that I use a lot is Canva. That's how I actually made this presentation here. It's built in Canva. This is the presentation mode, but you know, you can use, if you go to elements here, the AI image generator is built right into Canva here. So you want a picture of Charleston Bridge with boat underneath. And that's a very simple prompt. So y'all probably need to adjust it a little bit. But as you can see, while we're sitting here, it's going to create an image based on what I just said right here in Canva. And then you can take this and slide it straight into your presentation. So you don't have to go look for pictures that match exactly what you're looking for. You can just have it right there. But this is an example of how it's already built into a lot of the systems that we're currently using. It's just wild. Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions? I think you're muted, Christy.
Yeah, that's really cool. I actually needed that the other day.
Yeah.
And I had to go on the internet and look forever. And I still never found really what I wanted.
Yeah. And so,
That's
and
neat.
with that AI, you know, it's never going to get mad at you. If you have a regular designer and you say, hey, I don't like this, I want to change this, I want to change this, you know, you go back and forth with them 5 times, they're going to start getting upset and the work is going to decrease in quality. With AI, the more that you go back and forth with it, it never gets mad and it continuously improves in quality. So if you work with it and you spend the time to go back and forth and teach it what you're looking for, it's super powerful.
That's really cool.
Yep. And that's just one example, you know, that's built into Canva, which a lot of people already use. There's more specific, there's more specific things like, you know, Midjourney is one that you actually have to use Discord in order to use properly and stuff like that. And so it can get pretty in depth. Midjourney, I know Adobe has a couple image creation pieces. One of the ones is Synthesize. What is it? Synthesia is a talking head video maker. So basically, it takes whatever text that you have, and it can create. Well, actually, I think I have it saved here. It can actually. Oh, that's 11 Labs. It takes your text and makes a talking head video that you can use on social media. You could use anywhere you want. I'm going to pull that up real quick.
And Don asked real fast, does Canva improves the more you use it?
Yes.
Or no?
So it not quite as in depth as, you know, ChatGPT or Bard or something like that, where you're actually creating a profile basically. But Canva does learn about your brand. If we go to Canva, you know, you can go into your brand. I don't have it all set up properly, but it, you know, Remax right here and the color palette. My brand voice, which was for another company that I was working on here. You can create content in your brand with these colors, including your logos. It'll automatically create say a presentation for you.
That's why I want to break that back down.
And how are Opus and Munch priced?
So Opus and Munch, I believe they're going to be around like $20 a month. Usually there is free. I know for Opus and Munch both. You get some free, like a free trial, essentially.
We have Opus.
Okay. Lee just said that there's an Opus Pro account that you can use. Kim has it, apparently.
Kim's bogarting the Opus the account. I look at Kim now; she shows up.
So yeah, so Opus, obviously for you guys, it's free. But Opus is super powerful. Opus is one of those tools that you take your long form video and you put it into Opus. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour, but it's going to shoot out like 10 different videos in short form with the captions underneath them. You know, there's things that pop up on TikTok. And it actually also scores them and gives them to you with a relevant score based on your audience. So it'll score one, you know, this is 95% effective for, you know, X audience. It goes over this topic, blah, blah, blah. And it also suggests a caption. So once you put it in there, it gives you basically everything when it gives you the content. Now you can go into Opus and edit all those videos individually. So that's something that you'll probably want to do because it doesn't always get the words right, especially if you have an accent. Like I've got a bit of a Southern accent. So sometimes it doesn't pick up all of the words and get them right. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, somebody asked, what is the cost of Canva? I want to say it's like 30 something or $40 a month. I'm not certain. My broker actually pays for it, so that I use. So yeah, so that's something I think it's like $30 a month. None of this stuff is super expensive. Now, depending on how you build your system out, like we were talking about earlier, it can get expensive if you have this tool and this tool and this tool and this tool built on top of it. But all in all, it's going to be, you know, maybe if you budget $100 to $200 a month, you're going to have a fairly healthy budget to build a good AI system. And honestly, a lot of these, if you're just playing with them, they all offer a free trial of some sort. And they all offer a free trial of some sort, and you're going to be able to, you know, try it out, use it for a while. And if it doesn't work for you, you don't have to implement it. The market right now in AI is kind of saturated. It's getting even more saturated. There's stuff that's popping up every day. So a lot of realtors kind of fall into that, you know, shiny object syndrome, as they call it. They start to implement too many things and it muddles their system. It makes their life actually harder instead of easier. So I really suggest to people to find like, you know, 3 or 4 main things that you want to learn at one given time and focus on those and implement them well. And then you can build on top of that. So build that system out and then build on top of it, essentially. Steve just asked, are any of the video services you're mentioning faceless? So Opus and Munch are both video services that take your video and cut it up into, it's like an editor, basically. It cuts it up. So whatever video you upload into it is what it's going to shoot out. So you could take a virtual tour, like do videos of a house, describe the house to the AI. I would use ChatGPT to write the script for the Opus video, and then you upload it into that. Now, you know, if you didn't want to even record your voice, there's text, that 11 Labs that I just pulled up a second ago. It takes text and makes it into speech. So it's a natural, it actually sounds good. It sounds like somebody is actually speaking. It's not like a robot anymore. And you can generate it in all kinds of different languages. It will automatically translate it. Then you take that text or that sound and you upload it into this app called Synthesia. And it actually, these people are not real people. There's like 100 different, 160 different AI avatars that you can use to speak on your behalf. All of these people are not real people, but you can make them look and sound like however you want, and they can say whatever you want. So you don't have to actually be on the video. Just with a little bit of time up front, you could actually have AI create the entire video for you, and then you can post it. So does that cover, I think Dawn, Dawn, y'all had questions about Synthesia here?
I thought there was going to be like a, making your face, that you take a still photo and make your face talk is what I thought you were going to show us. So thank you.
Yes, there is. I don't know if I have that saved. I did that a while back. I forgot. I can get back to you if you'd like. You drop your phone number in here, I can send it to you. I'll have to look it up. But there is an app that allows you to upload your photo, and then if you put in the text, it makes your mouth move like you're speaking. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's how people, if you see on social media, there's a lot of people that are creating these like deep fake videos, and they have the, you know, Joe Biden saying whatever or Donald Trump saying whatever, a lot of politics being used in there. And which has its pros and its cons. But if you use it in a creative way and you're ethical about it, it's a super powerful tool. So I'm gonna drop your I got your phone number here. I'll respond to that as soon as we get off this call.
Thank you.
Cool. So does anybody else have any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was
Yeah.
a great class. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, if you guys are interested in you know, a deeper dive or how you can implement this directly in your business, reach out to me. You can reach out to Christy for my contact info. I dropped that link to schedule a time with me. That's completely free. That doodle link here. Just, you know, schedule some time. I'll talk to you about your business, and we'll see how I can help. My goal is to just help other realtors in the area. You know, I'm trying to build my referral base. I'm trying to build my business as well. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to helping you guys out. Okay. Come to Knoxville in the springtime. I would love to. I'd love to do some in-person stuff. I'd also be interested, you know, if you guys want a group to get together and I can do a presentation for each of the offices. I would love to do that as well. You know, and we can talk about specific things that you're using in your business, and I can help you and give you some more specific things that you can implement.
I think this is fantastic. Thank you so much. You took something that was very overwhelming, I think, to people and made it bite-sized so they can start on it. And or if they've started on it, they can expand on it now.
Yes. And it's really hard to, you know, I can't necessarily tell you how to build a system or build, you know, what software to use, just because there's so many options out there and everybody's different. But yeah, I hope this just gave you a good base level of knowledge, give you some things to Google after this. You know, you're going to have a little bit of homework. And you just I would encourage you to just be continuously interested and curious about this. It's super interesting. You know, a lot of people are scared of it, but it's going to make our lives easier, and it's not going to take our jobs, especially if we stay on top of it as agents. It's going to make us stand out more if we're actually using all of these tools in our business rather than the people that are doing business the old way. That might work for a while, but it's not going to work forever. It's inevitable at this point.
Been trying to contact you.
No. Keep talking about it.
Thank you so much. We sure appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
This was great.
Thank you.
sir.
All right. I'm about to
Bye, guys.
bye.
But he did. He said, here, this, tell her you handle this.
He did say
If I
He said,
can-
this, it costs me nothing but time.